This is the classic bait and switch type of situation. They had an agreement and basically it switched up. Maybe he thought that that she would change her mind after a couple of years. So this woman posted this in the Two Hot Takes subreddit saying, "We had an agreement, but now my husband thinks I'm the a-hole." She says, "I didn't know what to pick for my flare. First time trying one of these. It's just been a bad day. I fought with my husband his whole lunch break about this. I became a stay-at-home mom 2 years ago. I told him from the start, I'm not going to be a stay-at-home mom if we aren't comfortable. As in, I can get the kids different season outfits when it comes time, buy whatever cleaning supplies I want, and buy the kid random things without stressing. I also told him I was still going to dye my hair, dye my hair every 2 months, spray tan once a month, the shampoo that does best with my hair, and my $30 mascara. He thinks I'm too stuck up and I don't need any of that. I told him that if it ever came to where I was having to give up these things that make me feel like a real person and not just a wife and mom, then I'm going back to work no matter what." Well, he did okay for the first year and a half. The company he worked for laid off half of their employees, and husband was one of them. Not his fault at all. He got a different job soon after, making $20 less an hour. So for the last 6 months, I have been more frugal with everything. Grocery shopping, going to Goodwill for kids' clothes. The kids don't really notice a difference. They're still happy as can be. I, on the other hand, who has really taken care of myself my whole life and got things I want to feel like myself, now have to put it all on the back burner. Sometimes I have to go weeks between shaving till I can get a new pack of razors. So it's not even bougie things like my spray tan, mascara, and hair dye I'm doing without. It's the most basic things. Effing razors. I used baby soap for my shampoo this morning. I told him last night I was getting a job at the old company I used to work for. He flipped out and said, "Why can't I just do without and ride this out?" I'm sorry, but riding it out for how long? He doesn't know. I explained to him, me and the kids are stuck in the house 24/7 because we don't even have gas money to go out to the park or library most weeks. And the only thing that made me feel like a real person, taking care of myself, I can't do because we can't afford it. I can no longer run to the grocery store and buy my son a $5 toy without stressing if I'm taken away from our budget. I reminded him of our deal, and he still feels like I'm being a stuck-up B-word for not just writing it out. Yeah, lots of red flags in this one. He claims it's all good because he grew up poor and it made him cherish things more, which, yeah, maybe, but I don't want my children growing up poor if I'm completely capable to change things. Which easily, these things may sound high maintenance, but the thing is, I've always been this way. I've never tried to hide it. He agreed to these conditions when we first started, but now I'm a stuck-up B-word for complaining and I'm too high maintenance. Give it to me straight. Be mean if you have to. Should I just give up this part of myself to write it out? Absolutely not. Y'all had an agreement. You kept your end of the bargain. You set clear conditions. I will do this if. And the if has changed. So you get to go back to work. Him trying to downgrade you and insult you to stay at home when it's not working out for you is not conducive to a healthy relationship, is making you feel less than. And I don't care if it is hair dye and mascara. That's what you choose. And you've been able to take care of yourself for this long. And now all of a sudden you have to change things up. Absolutely not, especially if you have the capacity to go back to work, especially before you've been out of the workforce for too long. I'm not going to do a lot of these comments because there's an update, but TaylorMade says if your kids are in school most of the day, I don't see the big deal of going back to work. Would your job even let you work from home or be hybrid so you're at home when they get there? I hope you're being hyperbolic when you say he's calling you a stuck-up B-word. Name calling is never okay. Katie Bean says, I can't believe I had to scroll this far to see this. OP, twice in your post, your husband called you stuck up, and the second time a stuck up B word. Why in the holy heck are you with someone who treats you like that? The first time he said it, I'd have said, actually, I'm going to keep working because I refuse to be totally dependent on a piece of who calls me a stuck up B word just because I like to shave my legs and get nice shampoo. Dumbass study says this, so much this. Get the job because you're going to need it when you realize he's a controlling piece of and that you would be better off as a single mom. Okay, so here's her update. She says, I guess my husband never saw me as his equal since becoming a stay-at-home mom. She said, posted the other day about mine and my husband's agreement that he was trying to go back on. He doesn't want me to go back to work. But what he told me this weekend really just opened my eyes that he never saw me as his equal. I was trying to have a discussion on why it would be best for our family if I went back to work, even part-time evenings so we don't have to pay for childcare. He is livid. I'm bringing it up. He told me after all he's done for us for the past 2 years, he can't believe I'm just giving up this easily and that I want to go back to work. He says he wants me there when he's off work and on his weekend. He doesn't want to deal with the kids on his own time. So I should just ride it out indefinitely. I told him this definitely wasn't going to work for me. I told him after these past 6 months of being frugal and scraping by, I'm done. I told him this was the agreement we had. I also told him, thank you for letting me know how he thought so little of my role as a stay-at-home mom. I said I was under the impression that I did a lot for the family, same as he did a lot for the family. We just had different roles, but both contributed equally and both sacrificed equally. I told him, in all honesty, he would never have found a childcare provider that would allow the hours he worked. He worked 12-hour shifts 2 days a week or 5 times a week, depending on which week. He also switched from nights to days every 2 weeks. The only way he could have taken that position is me quitting my job to hold down the house and kids 24/7. He tried to go back on what he said, but it was too late. After screaming at me about how hard he worked and everything he did for our family, he never said a word about what kind of sacrifice I made so I could have that position, my career, my 401k, Social Security, and my own freedom. I said, I'll never regret the 2 years I got to be home with my babies to raise them. I will always be thankful for the opportunity and our teamwork to make it happen, but I will no longer be a stay-at-home mom for him because at this point it feels like a control or ego thing for him. And I want to make sure that myself and our kids are always taken care of no matter what. And I don't want to get 5 years down the road and be completely under his thumb because he showed me I can't trust him and he would fight me and do everything in his power to keep me from going to work. Luckily, my old supervisor already has a position for me to take over on the night shift or evening shift, so they are willing to be flexible and allow me to do part-time or full-time work. Good for her. She's already seen the signs, she's seen the red flags, and she is doing what she needs to do to protect herself because she's already seen glimpses of how he could be controlling or angry or whatever. The whole insulting her and calling her a stuck-up B-word when all she really wants is some money to live. What they're doing right now, she's in survival mode, and she was in survival mode for a little while. Now it's time to go out of survival mode and execute a plan. She already had a plan in place. She already knew she was going to go back to work if the conditions changed. This lady is not the a-hole, but her husband is. Her husband is for doing the whole bait and switch. He probably just didn't think that she would stand up for herself and, have the confidence to actually say these things and do it and execute it. Lulu Lane says he wants you there when he gets home and on weekends when he's home, so he's not responsible for childcare on his own, but he sure expects you to do it all 24/7. He also doesn't want you pulling a paycheck because then you are competing with him and he no longer has his say on how money is spent. Men like this suck. These are some of the reasons I refuse to be a stay-at-home mom to my kids. I spent the first year with them and then it was back to work. I want my own money and I'm not asking for permission to spend my money either, within reason, of course. Rough Commercial says he is not supportive at all, and the comment about needing you there after work and weekends because he doesn't want to deal with his own children. Honey, you are a housekeeper and a nanny bangmaid. I'm sure once you start working, he will continue to throw wrenches in your plans, possibly ignore the children and blow up your phone just enough just to get you so overwhelmed you quit or worse, fired. He doesn't care about you or your success, only what you can do for him. And once you stop being useful or get sick, he will dump you and the kids on another relative. And that's the reason why I keep calling wife appliances, because we are useful until we aren't. And then they upgrade or dispose of them. All right, so here is the OP saying, yes, that's definitely what it feels like. When I was happy to be home caring for the children, he did make me feel like an equal and thank me for everything I did. But now, since I'm not just shutting up and being quiet for him, it's definitely showing. The comment about caring for our children made me sick to my stomach. He loves playing with the kids, but he hasn't had to do the dirty work in about 2 years, and I'm worried what it would look like. I did tell him with me going back to work, childcare, housework would go back to being 50-50, and if he can't pull his load, I won't be sticking around and taking care of an extra child on my time off. Okay, it seems like she has a plan. She's already seen what it could look like, and she already has the seeds planted that she's not going to accept being a bang maid and a wife appliance and going to work. So that's good for her. All right, so then Blonde says, make sure in your plans you aren't relying on him for childcare in order to work. I mean that he can't purposely come home late so you can't go to work, because he will sabotage you going to work if he can. I'm sorry that you now know the extent of the disrespect he has for you and all you do for your family. It's so sad. I'd leave if I were you. I could not continue to live with someone who's seen me as nothing but a maid and a babysitter. Go see an attorney and see what your rights are, and make sure that he has 50-50 custody, which he will fight, but at least you could use his fight against custody time against him and get more child support. All right, so I'm going to end it there. This has already gotten kind of long, but that's the thing, is like this woman had a plan B. She had a plan B, C, D. She had it in her mind that she would need to go back to work, or she could go back to work if necessary. I think that that is the best way to become a stay-at-home mom, is with a contingency plan and having the opportunities or having a setup to where you could go back to work and not have a whole lot of downtime between the time that you need to get a job and the time that it takes to get a job, because it's already hard out here. So don't just become a stay-at-home mom or a trad wife without a game plan. All right, y'all, let me know what you think about all of this. Join the conversation. Don't forget to like. A soon-to-be divorced man posted in this Am I the A-hole subreddit saying, ex-wife. That's the title, is simply ex-wife. He says, my wife and I have been separated for 5 months. Divorce almost final, and we don't really have any major issues. Only problem is I moved out with friends as we didn't have the combined income to support 2 houses for the kids. I take both kids to sleep over my parents with me 3 nights a month, so she can have a break and do her own thing. A whole 3 nights a month. Okay, so he is responsible and a father on his own with his parents for 3 nights a week. Okay. She started asking me to stay at the house weekend evenings so she can go out. She's clearly going out on dates while I stay home with the kids. I told her I was not comfortable with this, and she needs to get a babysitter if she's going on dates outside of my scheduled time with the kids. I'm giving her the house, still paying the mortgage, and I moved out with friends. 3 days per week, I go to the house, get them ready for school, and drop them off. I pick them up and put them to bed those same days. The 3 overnights a month is all I can do until I get my own place, and that will be very soon. Just a lot of expenses for me to cover. Am I a jerk for drawing this boundary? It's not fun being inside of your own home watching your ex-wife getting dolled up for her date and then waiting for her to come home so I can leave. Isn't it kind of rude to ask your still husband to provide childcare in your own home so you can go on a date? We aren't even divorced yet. She might not even be going on dates. She might just need some me time. She might be going out with friends, whatever. She just needs some time to herself. She has the kids. Even if he comes over there and puts the kids to bed or helps get them ready for school, she still is there in the home. She still has them the majority of the time. And however she's choosing to use her free time should be her business. She has them 27 to 28 days a month. And he has them a whole whopping 3 days a month. That is nothing. And yeah, it is correct that that he needs to get his own place and get established and all that. I completely agree. And this is one of the reasons why I do believe in splitting up custody 50-50. because these men need to have their kids more than just every other weekend and every other holiday, because it does give the mom time to herself to be able to do what she wants. And that time needs to be spent without the husband or ex-husband policing what she's doing. He shouldn't even know where she's going outside of being able to reach her if in the case of an emergency. It's not his business. They're no longer a couple, and they're both going to move on. But this is also very important in why there should be a 50-50 custody or some kind of the child support arrangement set up to where feelings don't get involved, because soon as jealousy starts to get involved, these people might want to hold off on giving child support or jack up with your days off or, whatever, just simply so you cannot go off and have a life. Some of these people don't think that you deserve to have a life after the divorce. And that's the reason why it needs to be on paper. Custody arrangements need to be on paper. Child support arrangements need to be on paper. And it needs to go through the court and to the point where it just is coming out of checks or whatnot. And that is specifically for this reason, because soon as somebody gets into another relationship, there could be some jealousy, some insecurities, some vitriol involved. And that is not, that's not conducive. The relationship is over. Why do you care what the other person is doing? So that's what I'm saying. Let's look at the comments. Wandering Madman Redux says, dating while not divorced and asking you to stay at the marital house while she does it, that's a big nope. But like I said, we don't even really know if she's dating. She literally could just be going out to hang out. Suspicious Duck says, dating while separated is fine, but asking the guy to come over to watch his kids while she sees someone else is not cool. She should plan for nights when he has kids overnight or wait until they're officially divorced. They've split assets and they both have homes that support the kids. Jimbo says, it feels intentionally disrespectful to try to force him to come watch the kids so she can go on dates when she could either try to schedule for the days that he has them or get a sitter or something. I don't know if that much thought went into it, so it's possible that she just wasn't thinking that way, but I doubt it. It seems like she wants to make sure he knows. Master P. Strong says, then he should have the kids more than 3 nights a month. According Tap says, I think it's pretty fair considering the life she gets to lead at the moment while he's crammed in with some friends. Master P. Strong says, but they should just sell the house so that they both can have proper shared custody. There's pretty much nowhere they could live in North America where they'd be underwater on property unless they bought it in the last 6 months. Also, the life she gets to lead, being a single mom 27 days out of the month, yeah, what a dream compared to rooming with your friends and having no responsibilities for 27 out of 30 days. Zombie Scooby-Doo says, he only has the kids overnight 3 times a month. Not a lot of time for mom to do anything when she's the primary parent. Sounds like dad just doesn't want to spend time with the kids. Suspicious Duck says, he says he has them more than her. It's just more than her? No, that's not true. That's not what he said. It's just that his current place he's staying doesn't allow for overnights. I know some ex-couples solve this by kids staying in the house and parents rotate in and out until a divorce is final and the house is sold. I normally cheer for the wife in these situations, but seriously, 5 months into a divorce, things still are raw, and she knows she's hurting him by asking. Riding Donkey says, I'd be willing to bet that this is all the time he can get because of the living situation. He's clearly getting weekday time by coming to the house and doing school drop-off and pickup. Courts typically aren't too kind to dads, and these arrangements aren't out of the ordinary until divorce and custody agreements are finalized. Tarzan Kitty says, here he is being offered more time with the kids, and he would rather control mom than spending time parenting. And that's what I agree with. He could do it, but he just knows that some man is going to be out there with her. He doesn't even really know, but he just assumes that. Zombie Scooby-Doo says this, I get it's awkward and even uncomfortable. I even agree mom is rushing moving on. But dude, forget her. Take this as an opportunity to spend more time with your kids. She's an ex for a reason. At least with him watching the kids, he knows they're safe and he's building memories. Then if he has plans on getting his new place soon, then it would be short term. Then he could watch them at his house 1 or 2 weekends a month and mom can do whatever she wants. Riding Donkey says, that's not controlling mom. It is a divorce. It isn't pretty. Babysitting is not babysitting, it's parenting. Babysitting at the house you pay for but can't live in so your wife, still your wife, can date other men is a preposterous ask. Emotionally, that will wreak havoc on any good human being. Tarzan Kitty says good humans spend more than 3 effing days per month with their children, and they do whatever they have to do to make it happen. There we have it. You all chime in. What do you think about this? Do you think that he was leaving things out? Do you think he was adding things to this situation? I think that he was adding his own flair. She might not even be interested in dating. We all know that marriage and divorce is messy and tiresome. Not all women are jumping right back into the dating game. So let me know what you think. Join the conversation. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. This woman made this post in the Make My Choice subreddit, but she already knows what she needs to do. Based on the title alone, the answer is leave. Okay, but she says, I'm already checked out of my relationship, but my boyfriend wants me to stay. I'm already checked out. That means you need to leave. She's already mentally gone. It's just going to take her to leave physically. She is 26. She's 25. He's 26. I don't know if this is the right place to post this, but I've been dating this man for 6 months, and it's only been going on for 6 months. 6 months now, and it's honestly the rockiest relationship I've had to date. They've only been dating for 6 months. Get out of there before you get knocked up. Why? Why is this? No. The answer is break up. All right, let's continue though. He's the kind of guy who video games a lot, doesn't get much attention, if at all, from women, and doesn't make a ton of money, and doesn't exercise, but he's not overweight. I make 3 to 5 times the amount he does because I'm college educated and work more hours on average. Money matters aside, what really gets me is that he is extremely emotionally needy and needs constant reassurance. That would get annoying. Now, this is fine, but it has taken up hours I would normally use to work and earn a living to help support my family. I'm childless, but I help with paying off the mortgage for my family's house that we live in. This is more reason to break up. He's extra needy. He is not motivated. It's only been going on 6 months. He sits around, plays video games. Why does she want to stay with this man? Because he doesn't get a lot of romantic attention from women and has only had 3 serious relationships. He thinks I'm the one and has reiterated many times that he wants to marry me, etc. after only 6 months of dating. She needs to get out of there before he gets her pregnant on purpose. While I wish I was excited at the prospect of marrying this man, I know he wouldn't be able to financially support a family with me, nor would he be emotionally mature enough to have confidence in himself without me telling him that he is worth it and that I'm in love with him and that I will marry him, etc. He has also said on multiple occasions that he has wanted to self-delete if I didn't stay with him, even though this should be my decision and not his. His mom thinks I'm ungrateful, even when I'm usually the one paying for meals, paying for clothes, and the like. That right there is, there's more reasons. There's no y'all. I don't always read these things all the way through. Sometimes I just skimming and taking screenshots. I'm not actually reading. So as I'm reading this, I'm like, this is easy. She's laid out all the bullet points on why she needs to leave. Okay. Not to mention, he put me in the hospital over a sex-related injury multiple times, after which I was billed for the injury. As I said before, none of my relationships have ever been this dramatic or harrowing, and I have never been in a position where the man has threatened to take his own life over me leaving. Oh my God, y'all. Oh, I got a headache this morning right here. Please help. I know I need out, but he always promises to be better despite claiming to be hurt every time I tell him I was hurt by his actions. SOS, please help me make my decision. This one is pretty easy. There's absolutely no reason to stay with this man. He's needy. He's threatening to off himself. She has a sex-related injury and she has to pay for the bill. What the heck is a sex-related injury? What is she getting? What's she getting out of this? She's paying for the meals. She's paying for clothes. She just has this man that she's supporting. She has a 26-year-old toddler at her home. Oh, God. No. You came, you said, make your decision. The decision is leave. Go. I'm totally sure. I'm like 100% sure that you watching this video, you're going to agree with me. Let's look at some of the comments. All right, so this person says the self-deletion threat is a manipulation. Call 911 to do a welfare check. If he says that when you leave, it's not your problem. This person says, exactly, this is what must be done. Call 911 and inform them that this guy is threatening to off himself because you want to break up with him. Once he gets put on a 72-hour psych hold, he'll stop with the BS manipulation tactics. I don't know if OP is living with this guy. She mentioned she's paying the mortgage for the family house they live in. So I'm getting the impression that the OP's boyfriend lives with her and her family as well. If he gets taken away for his threat, that's when you box up all his stuff and drop it off to his mom's house. Get the key from him or change the locks if necessary. It also be OP's chance to get him out of the house and be done with him. Dancing Firefly says, perfect answer. Anytime someone threatens self-harm, it must be addressed, and calling 911 will either see that they're evaluated if they really mean it, or they'll stop the nonsense. My sister-in-law did this one, called me and said she was going to do something. I called the police and they took her to the hospital in handcuffs. She never did that again. This person says, I would honestly hate to have to do that to someone because it's not going to be a pleasant experience and they'll probably hate me forever for making the call. Either the person actually needs help or they need to learn not to make that kind of threat ever again. Let the authorities handle it. Covers you either way. Mama Rosa says, yeah, at that point, I'd say, F it, let them hate me. If this is the kind of crap people like that pull, I don't need that kind of bull in my life. Scar Fluid says, this is severe mental abuse though, and the off chance he means it, then she's getting him help. But based on everything she's mentioned, he's super abusive, especially for being only 6 months in. And this person says she's the one that will have mental health issues because he's acting like a damn idiot. She needs to put herself first because he sounds batshit crazy. VFTM says sex-related injury. And she says, essentially, when it was already hurting, he still made the choice to put it inside me when I had already told him no. He has already apologized countless times for this, but that memory has never left me. If someone says no, and then the other person proceeds, there is no consent. What is that? Like this person says, that is grape. If consent is pulled at any point, if you are being harmed, if consent is pulled, that is grape. That right there, this right here is, okay, there's no other discussion that needs to be had. This man is dangerous. There's no good points. This man is dangerous. Please leave dangerous relationships. Please leave dangerous relationships. There's no, like this person says, there's no amount of apology that would be good enough. And with that, I'm going to end this because what the actual F? What the actual F? She's been with this man for 6 months and he's absolutely not. She needs to get out before he gets her pregnant and before he actually harms her even more than he's already done. Absolutely not. All right, y'all. I'm getting off of here. Let me know what you think about this one. Join the conversation. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.